And then I have a tray over here that I'm gonna just kind of invert my sample into. And a little bit of water in the tray so I can kind of rinse it into the tray. Some of it will stick to the net, which is okay. The other thing, if this tray wasn't so full, I could do is rinse the net with some water just to wash everything down so you get everything out of the net. And then you can kind of look and see what you have caught. So, what do we have? We actually caught a little fish here. This is called a brown bullhead. It's a little fish that's born in the river. Got some dragonfly nymphs here. We have some amphipods, this little guy swimming around. And we have a lot of, right here, if you see this little guy who's sticking to the tray, this is called a black fly larvae. They like to live right out in the high current. They stick to rocks with one end and then they put their mouth up the other end and filter food as it floats downstream. I know I saw some mayflies in here as well. Here's a caddisfly. Let's see if I can. The fish is following me. Here. There's a caddisfly right there. Sometimes caddisflies are in cases. This one is not. One thing I like to use in the field with students are these handy identification cards, because as you can tell, a lot of these things are very small when you're looking at them in a tray. And it's much easier if you have them in a microscope, of course, but you can also use these cards to help you become familiar with the characteristics of the different invertebrates you might collect. So here we have a black fly larvae, and you can see, put this down here, they have a nice zoomed in area where they show what is actually found at the base of their abdomen that is allowing them to adhere to the rocks. And you can see these little fan-shaped structures that they have sticking up into the current to collect their food. Sorry. All right, so here we're noticing some of these light-colored rocks. You can really see all these little black dots on there. And if I pick this up out of the water, what are they? Those are the little black fly larvae just coating the surface of this rock. So imagine each rock in this river, with this part of the river, is probably covered in these things. And numerically, there are a lot of black flies coming out of this. And so you want to make sure that the size of your net is appropriate to the depth of the water in the surface. So you see you have a little space here, but the water's not flowing over top of the net. And so what we'll do is typically you're going to have, so we're doing this in a quantitative way, you'd have a set area that you'd be sampling in the stream bed, so you'd have like a today we're just going to show you how to do the sampling by hand. So what I do is just basically go down into the stream bed and pick up the rocks and rub them. And as I rub them, I kind of throw them up. And then we here on the bottom side have caddisflies. So even on the same rock you have microhabitats. On the top of the rock, right out in the flow, you have the black flies that are attached with their little feet. And on the bottom side you have the caddisflies that are filtering water through their cases. How about these? Those are another kind of caddisfly. Yeah, another kind of, you can tell they're different by their cases. Cool. Here we have some caddisflies. So these are some of the case-dwelling caddisflies. You can see they kind of pop out. Some different ones, we could see that they make cases out of little rocks and pieces of sand. Some make them out of vegetation or little pieces of stick. Some don't make cases at all. Lots of different types of caddisflies that we might find. And then we have those that are free living that we did also find a bunch of in this portion of the stream here. The free spinning ones tend to be the net spinners, the ones that catch their food with basically like a silk that they would spin, kind of like spiders will spin silk. Our dragonfly nymph, you can see the prementum, the little scoop that's the mouth part that it uses to catch its prey. Like this is looking on the bottom side of it. If I flip it over on the top, you can see, let's see if I can get it to focus here. Here we have a nice close-up drawing of some different types of dragonflies, right? So we didn't catch any of these. These are the darner dragonflies. They're some of the largest nymphs that we would find. Here are some of the skimmers that we would find, some different types. And here they have a nice close-up to show what their mouth parts look like. So this is the prementum that we looked at on the underside of the head, and it's really like a scoop that is used to capture their prey.
You could like sew clothes out of it. Okay, wait a second. Wait. Okay, what?
So like it looks like chunky, but like
Yeah.
if you squeeze it out, like it's like
Ooh, nice.
the Grinch's fur.
Oh goodness gracious. Yeah, that seems realistic. Agitate with your hands or with a tool if you have like a spoon or something like that.
The board that I just pulled up from the bottom of the stream, all kinds of critters living on here. Even a big old leech right in the middle of the river here. You often don't think about leeches living in rivers, but in some of these slower moving parts of the river you'll find leeches. And of course these are all different caddisflies here. All these little cases. Some different types down here as well. And then we also found a bunch of snails here. Little snails. This caddisfly seems to be peeking out of its home here. You can sort of see it poking its head out, wondering what's going on.